Well, there's always a time comes that we need to talk about sag. Hey, you lot, don't be so cheeky. I'm on about diamond painting. Come and have a look.
A lot of you will recognise this picture. I've used it on a number of occasions to do comparisons with my big Libra picture from Diamond Painting Deutschland. So this is the smaller version, and I've had it in and out of the frame quite a few times. So what has happened is that the mount and the canvas has lost its stick, and so as I have had the frame upright, the picture has moved down the ways and I've got sag here at the bottom. You may be able to see the ruffles in it. Sorry about any reflection. Can you see that very clearly? And on this side as well. You can see there are sort of bumps in the canvas, and at the top you can definitely see where it's slipped down. So today we're going to fix the problem. We're going to take the picture out of the frame and re-stick it. If you've seen my framing videos before, you'll know that I like to use an old towel as a bit of a protection for the frame as I turn it over. So I'm going to lay my old towel down. And I use an old towel so that it's not fluffy, because I don't want little bits of fluff getting inside the picture frame. Right, so we turn it over, and then I'm going to release all of these little tabs on the back. And while I do that, let me explain, with diamond paintings, because the diamonds are fairly heavy, it's not just like a piece of paper that you would frame. You do need to stick your picture down to either the mount, which is what I do if I use a mount. You know how some canvases have the sticky edge around it? I use that to stick that to the mount. If you don't have a mount, then you would need to stick it to this backing board to stop the picture sliding down. So as you can see, last time I unframed it, I put some sellotape on the corners, and I don't feel it's held it well enough. Well, it obviously hasn't, because it's created a problem. So I'm just going to lift the picture back out again. And I'm going to check if this needs to be flattened again before I reframe it, because I've left this a little while because I thought it would be useful for you to see, and in leaving it a while it may have caused a lot more creasing. Right, I'll remove that for a moment. And let's have a look at the picture. So as you can probably tell, I'll get a close-up. With the top pushing down the canvas, the bottom is worse than the top. You'll probably be able to see the riffling here, the sag. And that goes all the way across to the other side as well. So I am going to have to push this down, put something heavy on it. I'm going to try a day and see if that's enough, just to get this flattened out, and I'll join you then. So yesterday I talked about putting heavy things on the canvas to flatten it out. I'm lucky that I've got these sample bits of worktop which are very heavy. So these have been on here since I did that video yesterday. I'll just take them off and we'll have a look. Gosh, it's very heavy. Okay, so I can see that the canvas itself has flattened really well. On the edges, it's still a little bit ruffled here because with the granite slabs laying on top of the diamonds and those being slightly lifted off the canvas, they're not sat on this bit. So although the picture is lovely and flat, the edges are still a bit creased, but not too bad at all. Okay, what I'm going to do next is get some double-sided tape. I've got this very thick tape, so what I'm going to do is actually cut it in half so that I can put it along each edge. I'm going to do it in as big a pieces as I can because I want to be able to hopefully put one piece along rather than small pieces, and I'll explain why when we get there. Okay, so it's so sticky, this tape. I think that's about as much as I'm going to do without it all sticking together. So I'm going to pop that bit on and cut this. I think if I went any further, it would end up just all sticking to each other. Right, that's still a bit wide for there. Let me check the top bit. Yeah, so that's going to be fine for the top. It's a bit too wide for the bottom. So I have put it so it overlaps to here. The top bit I want as sticky as I can possibly get it, because that is the bit that holds the weight up. Again, and I'm just going to cut, see where I went a bit offline there. Just going to cut that little bit off so that it doesn't go over the edge of the canvas, because we don't want it sticky up here. And I'm not putting it right to the very, very edge of the diamonds. I'm just probably a millimetre or two away from that. Okay, we'll do that process again. Cut the tape in half. Obviously, make life easier for yourself and get some thinner double-sided tape rather than doing it this way. In fact, I maybe could have got 3 out of this thick. Let's try doing 3. You watch, I'll make a complete mess of it. Right, there's my first strip. Let's see if we can... You can tell how sticky it is, can't you? Right, that's so wiggly. Right. Yeah, that's still a bit thick actually. Anyway, right. Cut that bit off. I'll just have to trim off where I went wavy. There we are. I might keep that bit. It might be useful for if there's any gaps anywhere. Again, just a millimetre or two away from the diamonds themselves, pressing it down. And I'm just measuring to make sure it's not going, off the edge of the canvas. So again, got a bit of a wiggly bit here, chop it down. And that's really only because if it went off the edge of the canvas, it would end up sticking to the backing board. And I don't want that. I want to be able to, if I eventually get sick of this picture, which I very much doubt, then I would want to use the frame for something else. Of course, if you don't have a mount, then you will have to stick it to your backing board. Right. Just making sure, because this bit of the canvas is still a little bit ruffled, I'm making sure that is nicely straight with the tape. And do the same the other side. Again, I've got a little bit of creasing down here, so I'm going to make sure that is nice and flat with my tape. You can see here, that's where the sticky bit ends on this canvas, and because I've had it in the frame, out of the frame, in the frame, out of the frame, it's lost its tackiness. Actually, that's way too much, right. So, just want to make sure it's straight on this bit because it is so creased still in this corner. I don't think the little block was as heavy as the bigger block. Anyway, that's sitting. I'm sure when the mount is on, it won't show. Let's hope so. What I don't want to do is overlap these bits of tape because I want them to be all the same depth, and when I pull it, I don't want it to lift up, so I'm making sure that I don't overlap these corners. Cut that bit off and we can use this bit. Right, how's that? That's a bit long. Cut that end bit off. Just firmly pressing down to make sure this corner has the tape on nice and flat. So that's the whole edge retaped, and basically what I've done there is added more stick to the edge of the canvas. As I say, when I normally frame with a mount, I use the canvas's own sticky back to stick to the mount, and that has always been sufficient apart from with this picture. So if you ever have an issue with sag on your picture, try this. Just try to add a bit more stick around the side. I find double sticky tape easier because it's cleaner than glue. I've never used glue, PVA or any other glue on a canvas, so I'm not sure if it would ruffle the canvas more or not, so I prefer doing it this way. Right, The next stage then is to start peeling off the edge of this tape. And the reason I've tried to get it as long as I can is because by pulling back and folding it, you get these tabs. And if you can get the tabs, it means you don't have to take all of the backing off straight away, and it gives you a little bit more playtime when you get the mount, when you're placing the mount on top of the picture. So I'm making these little tabs. Just by pulling some off and then folding over. Okay, so we get the mount. Just trying to get as much of the picture in as I can. All right, the mount is here. I've taken off the sellotape that was on it. I can just actually see another piece there, because I want, oh no, that's not, that's just the residue. There's another piece here. I want, you see this here, just peeling off that sellotape that I used last time I took it out of the frame, because I don't want any surfaces that can peel off. I want a really good key on the back of this mount. So turn the mount over so it's the correct side now, and I'm going to place it very carefully along the top to get the best. Now, can you see what I mean about the double-sided sticky tape? If I'd taken it all off, it would be stuck quite well already. By doing this, it just gives a bit of extra playtime to do a bit of checking, position it. Okay, so at this point, the mount is now in its place. So I get hold of this tab and pull, and then I can press down the mount. And that is the top secured. I then do the same with this side. To secure that, and move down and press. Okay, so now we're just left with the bottom. So again, I'm holding it down and pulling the tabs and pressing. Okay. That is now the picture stuck properly to the mount again. Next, we have to get the frame back. So we've now got the frame sitting on the old towel to stop any fluff and to protect the frame from the hard table as I frame. We've also got the picture with the mount stuck to it, and it's still on the backing board, as you can see there. Because I'm not going to lift the picture from the backing board in case it pulls the picture off the mount again. I've also got the hanging mechanism, which I'm going to slip onto the backing board. That just hooks over. Try and get it as central as I can. I think that's pretty good actually. And then I'm going to flip those both over into the frame. Make sure that all of the tabs, there we go, all of the tabs are free, ready to be pressed down again. I usually use a pair of tweezers, the end of a pair of tweezers for this, but I don't have any with me here. So I'll probably use the scissors just to give it a bit more firmness. And then we can turn it round and have a look. It can't be any worse than when we started. Right, let's see. Ta-da! Oh, sorry for any reflection. So as you can see, we've now got the picture back at the top of the mount board, and going down to the bottom, we don't have any sag. Can you see there? It's nice and flat again, sitting in the mount. So that's how you solve the problem of sag. Thanks for joining me. I hope you can see us next time. In the meantime, enjoy your own diamond painting. Take care everyone. Bye.